glass full until morning light, 'cause I'm just holding on for tonight.
I don't know for you, but have you realized that nobody actually prepares you for failure? When you're about to start a new thing, we all pray for success. We hope for good things to happen. We hope that we sail through peacefully with no, I don't know, no problems, no high tides, no big waves. We pass through the road, no potholes. Through the sky, no turbulence. All these transport metaphors. Yeah, like we all don't expect bad things to happen. So a lot of us don't prepare for it. So when it hits us, it's like a huge mountain in the middle of the road that just sprouts out from the ground and we cannot see anywhere across it, and it's too steep to climb it, and it's like our journey stops there. I never thought that I would fail in my life. The closest thing to failure that I experienced was one time in primary school. I couldn't understand what the question meant. Like they used a word in the question, I didn't understand what that word meant, so I couldn't answer it. And it made me not do as well in the exam. And it broke my heart. I actually cried because it was a science paper and I really loved science at the time. So I was so heartbroken. There are times where I put a high standard, and when I fall beneath that standard, it gets to me, it makes me so sad, but never to the point of failure. I never expected failure from myself, ever. When I entered medical school, I came with this mindset that I was coming to dominate. Not necessarily dominate as in do better than everyone, but dominate the field for myself. Do the best that I can do, and the best I can do is going to be very good. Like I had so much vim, so much hope in myself, and I wouldn't say I'm a bad student. I'm actually a good student. I understand what I learn, even though sometimes it's not easy. I get distracted a lot when I learn, but eventually I get the job done. But I wouldn't say I'm the A plus student that I hope to be. And there are times where I've done really, really well in an exam. And there are times where I've done terribly, not to the point of failure, but to my definition of terribly, where I would have expected more from myself, or maybe I could have put in more effort in actually studying the material so that I did better. So yeah, I never expected failure. There are times where I actually thought like, and that's what made medical school so different for me, because there are papers I've written that I really was not sure of what I wrote, and I thought that I would fail, but I didn't. And I was happy. I was glad. I was elated because it's very easy to fail here. I mean, it sounds like it's pass mark is 50 and above. It sounds like it shouldn't be that difficult to get 50, but sometimes it's not easy. My first scare was when I got 50 on the dot in a particular paper. I think I was mute. I was really mute the whole day. I was like, my God, like almost. It was a shock. It was a shock for me, and I didn't expect that. So you can imagine the kind of shock I went through when I actually failed my first paper. My first failure was, of course, in fourth year, the most stressful year in my school. It was this forensics paper, forensic medicine and toxicology. And the sad thing is I actually enjoyed learning that module. I've had this dream because I used to watch Bones to be a forensic anthropologist. That was when I was a child. And I enjoyed pathology, the forensic pathology. So I was like in my mind, I'm going to be a pathologist maybe. Like it's not something I would scratch off, but I mean something I would consider to be a pathologist. And I enjoyed forensic pathology a lot. I used to learn that, I really learned that module. Like I didn't just learn from slides and from lectures. I used to read this big book because like it was, I don't know, it made the terms nicer, the pictures were better, and I understood it much better. I don't really know what happened in the exam. It wasn't that terrible. I felt like it was enough to pass, but I didn't feel like I wrote it properly. So yeah, so I was shocked to fail. I didn't you see, there are some papers that I wrote that were really difficult, and I'm like, if I failed this paper, I wouldn't be surprised. But I ended up passing, and I was so grateful for that. But for this, when I found out that I failed, I was heartbroken. Like, let me just tell you how I found out. So it was long awaited, and they posted the results. And we were in the hostel at that time. I mean, it was after school, and my mobile data was off, so I didn't know what was happening in our class page. Our course rep took the photos and sent it there, and I didn't know what was happening. So I was pretty calm. And funny enough, I was in such a good mood. I don't know why. We were going to have this general meeting with the Medical Students Association, so I was going for that. But I was in a very good mood. I really don't understand how. And I went there and I sat down, and yeah, I mean, we were fine, we were cool. And my boyfriend just came to me and suddenly was asking me, "Am I okay? Am I fine?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I mean, why? It was off. I was thinking that, did I look sick during the day for him to come and ask me? Or did I complain about something for him to come and ask me whether I'm okay? Like, I was really, really thinking. I didn't understand. So then I just sat down and then we went through the meeting. And the course of the meeting, it just clicked to me that they're supposed to have released the forensics results. Then I started fearing because of how he came to see me. So I actually bundled, I had mobile data, and I saw like 3 photos being sent to the class group, and you could see before downloading that it's results. I refused to download it. When I saw it, it's like I just knew. But again, I had this weird, crazy faith that no, that's not a reason why he came to check on me. This is the second time I've had such crazy faith before. The first time was, I think if you watch my medical school admission drama, you know, when I saw my results, my exam results, and I said that is not my results. I had to refresh and it still came the same. I mean, it couldn't change. But yeah, in the same situation, I said, no, I didn't feel. So after the meeting, actually I left in the course of the meeting, kept a little too long. I went to lie down in my room, and I was in so much anxiety. I was shaking because I was terrified to check to see if I actually did fail. Usually when I'm scared of the results of an exam, when I feel like it didn't go well, I let him check for me and tell me whether, like, my mark. I don't know, it's like, I don't want to see it if I know I didn't put in my all. Like, I don't know if you get him, just in case. So I was waiting for him to come and tell me whether I've passed or not in my mark. So I was lying down. I mean, he was still at the meeting for a while, but he came later. When he came to meet me, like, I was looking so sad. I was desperate to know what I got, and I was so anxious. Like, my heart was beating, palpitations. I was sweating, like, for like a long period before he came. When he was able to come, and I just asked him, "Did I fail?" And then he looked at me. He looked at me in shock because he thought I knew. Because he came to check on me, so he thought I knew. I was like, "I thought you knew." It became like I just broke down. I broke down, and I just wanted the earth to swallow me up at that moment. I don't know how to describe how I felt. I didn't understand. I didn't know how it felt to feel like that. And I was just there. I broke down, and I just decided to ask him, what did I get? What was my mark? He said he won't tell me. That would just make me sadder. So I knew I got 49, and indeed I did. Pass mark is 50. I got 49. 1 mark. 1 question I could have answered well. A few MCQs I shouldn't have gotten wrong, and I would have passed. But I didn't. And, you know, and when that happens, it's like your mind races. You go back and you see every single thing you're writing. You wonder, was it my handwriting that was bad? Was it me not answering the question in this format? Maybe I wrote it in a paragraph. I should have listed it. Was it me not, I don't know, learning this part well enough? Is it that I forgot to learn this part well enough and it came? Is it my fault? Does the lecturer not like me? Like, you start thinking so many things, and most of the time the thing is, maybe you didn't do enough to pass. Most of the time it's hard to come to that conclusion, but it's not like it's always your fault. I mean, exam conditions are completely different. Pressure changes everything. I mean, anything can happen. You can receive bad news that day. You might be full of anxiety, and you can have a thought block. So many things can happen. So it's important to realize that just because I fail doesn't mean I'm not good enough. But in that moment, I couldn't realize that. In that moment, I felt horrible. I felt terrible. Oh, that's my baby dog. Gigi, come and say hi. Don't lick my face. Gigi, look. Go to grandma. Go to grandma. Go. Yeah, she's gone. Yeah.
No, she come back to you.
Oh, my. Yeah. It was very hard for me to realize it in that moment. Actually, impossible. I couldn't. I just felt wrong. I was lying down. I was bawling. My eyes wanted to come out. Like, I have no words to describe how I felt. I just felt like, and I felt like a failure in everything. Because at that point in time, I was struggling to learn. I was struggling in a lot of extracurricular things I do. I was inconsistent on YouTube. I think that's before I took a break, right before I took a break on YouTube. My break just lasted a month anyway, so yay to consistency now. I mean, a lot of things were going wrong in my life, and that thing just came to hit me, and it made me realize that I'm not just a failure in academics, I'm a failure in everything. That is how I felt. I belittled myself so much, and I just wanted to vanish off the face of the earth. I wanted to go, I don't know. I felt defeated. I felt like a fraud. I had this, I mean, imposter syndrome has been a problem, but then it really rose in that period because I felt like, oh, I don't deserve to be here. I mean, how can I feel? Meanwhile, I mean, there are people who are doctors who have failed severally. Some of them are lecturers even. I mean, failure doesn't really define you because, like I said, exam conditions don't necessarily show what's in your head. I mean, it's just something they need to measure your adequacy with so that they can move you to the next level. But I really felt like I still felt that way. I mean, nothing could console me at that point in time. I felt like a fraud. I felt like afterwards when we were going to school, I felt like everybody could see. I felt like there was a big F on my face. I don't know. I felt like my stainless white garment had been stained. Like, I was one of the people who I thought I would graduate medical school without failing. But that streak didn't last. It ended. And the funny thing is that I've learned that it can happen again. And I'm trying to embrace that thought so that I don't go off when that happens, because I was not in a very good state. I was in a terrible state at that point in time. And I was happy to have someone there with me. He asked me, do I want to go anywhere? Do I want to do anything? I was saying no, I don't want to go anywhere, nothing. But he knows that I love the beach. So he was like, should we go to the beach or so? And it was night time. Like, it was late, like 8. I mean, not that late, but yeah, it was dark and stuff. So I was like, okay, let's go. We went to buy food and ice cream because ice cream makes me happy. And we went to the beach at night. It was really dark and we had to use our flashlights to eat. And I wanted to run into the ocean. I just wanted to go. I wanted to disappear. I didn't want to exist at that point in time because the pain was a lot. I called my mom when we were at the beach. I talked to him. And I mean, I didn't know what to expect her to say. What she just said was, oh, don't worry, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're smart. Like, it's like she made it feel so trivial. And I mean, there are ways of doing that that would rather make you feel bad, but this actually made me feel better because she made me understand that it doesn't define me, and I'm much smarter, and I'm better, and I am smart. I mean, someone once said that the hardest part of medical school is getting in, and I got in. I did it. So the hardest part is over. So why am I struggling? But yeah, it doesn't just end there. I mean, that's life. So yeah, I mean, that talk with my mom helped. Being at the beach helped. Being in nature is one of the most therapeutic things for me because it makes my problems like melt a bit. Like, it reduces in significance at that point in time, and it kind of helps me because I feel like I'm a part of something bigger. I feel like nature is so huge and it's working, and I just feel so connected, and it just makes my problems dim a bit. Yeah, but then that didn't always fix it. I mean, at that moment, I started to feel better. I came back, I was better, but later on, I cried myself to sleep. I cried the next morning. I was so messed up for some time.
Stretch their feet.
My heart. It's alive.
What is good?
Help me, I'm holding on for dear life. Won't look down, won't open my eyes. Keep my glass full until morning light. Cause I'm just holding on for tonight.
But we wrote the resets and I passed, and I was happy with that. I was happy that moment was over for me. But then I opened my mind to the fact that there are so many more exams to write, so many more opportunities to pass and to not pass. And that was scary for me. It was scary knowing that this was my first, but it might not be my last. But then I'm glad what I learned from it. I learned that failing doesn't mean you're a failure. I learned that I am worth where I am, that I deserve to be where I am. I learned that I need to take it slow on myself. I learned that I need to find more strategic ways in studying so that this doesn't happen as often, or it doesn't happen again. Because actually I would never want to go through that again, and I wouldn't wish it on anybody, because I mean, people handle things differently, and if you're not strong, I mean, I was really not strong. I derived strength from those who helped me, and I was like, because I felt defeated, but I was above it. And so many people have done that. People have failed over and over and over again, but they still have that kind of strength, and I admire it so much, because I don't have that. And I'm glad that people like that are there to encourage people who can't have it all together despite the problems. I'm grateful for those people. I'm grateful for people who made me feel like I'm worth it. I'm worth being here. And I truly am not a failure just because of one F in an exam. Yeah, I guess that's it. The only thing I'd like to say is, if you're ever in such a situation, what I've learned from this one experience is it's important to have a support system. And sometimes it's difficult for people to reach out. So if you are in a position to reach out to people, please try and do that. Some people might not be welcoming to receive help, but it all depends on how you talk. It all depends. You have to leave it in their hands. I mean, offer to do something for them. Offer to help them study. Offer it to, I don't know, even if it's like a chore, that's going to be a lot to help them. If they're in an organization and then you find like maybe if you find that they're going through something like a problem like this in their academics, maybe you can let them take some days off of coming for meetings or stuff like that. It really helps. It shows that you care. So in as much I'm talking to people who would be in that situation to try and do the best that they can for themselves, I'm talking to people watching this who can help people in such situation, because sometimes when you're there, you don't know what to do to help yourself. I would also encourage you to, if you have any faith, to pray to your maker. I'm of the Christian faith. There is some peace that comes with praying. It feels like venting to someone who's actually listening and wouldn't say things that would hurt you back. So I would encourage you to pray. Yeah, I think that's all I can really say. I mean, it was such an experience for me that I don't want to relive, but the thing is, I'm open to the possibility that it might happen again. And I would encourage everybody to prepare for such a time in their life. I mean, we all want good things to happen to us, but there are sometimes some things that will just go south. And if you're not prepared for it, if you're not understanding what we can do in such situation, if we do not have high value of ourselves, such a thing, no matter how big or small, can really knock us down and we lose everything. So I think we can all build ourselves up in anticipation of those things, because I mean, nobody's really immune, no matter how spiritual you think you are. I know a lot of people forbid such things from happening to them. God forbid it. And ding 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 ding. I mean, you're not more special than the next Christian or so. So I would say, don't think you're immune to such things. After all, God might even use such situations to make you stronger in certain things. I mean, things work in mysterious ways for different people. So yeah, I guess that's all I would say. Thank you for watching. If you like my content, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and do me a favor by hitting that subscribe button. I make vlogs and videos for medical school life and just anything that's really fun to talk about, or something that can be inspiring and a learning experience for you and for me. Thank you. Bye.